Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. So while America's over here preaching to us and telling us what pronouns you're supposed to use when addressing somebody who has a mental condition, the Nigerian government just had to shut down entire schools because radical Islamist terrorists keep kidnapping Christian children, more specifically, Christian girls. Let me repeat that. Children, Christian children, young girls, hundreds of them. And instead of crushing the terrorists, the government closed the schools. This is the exact same logic as banning guns to prevent criminals from committing crimes. It's the stupidest concept. Yeah, we got radical Muslims kidnapping and doing the other things that we can't say on this channel to these young girls, and they think the way to stop it is to close schools. But I'm going to tell you what they don't want you to know. Let's talk about Boko Haram, one of the deadliest radical Islamist movements on planet Earth. That's right, I'm going to go there. This is a place that a lot of people don't want to go for safety reasons, but also because they're afraid that a label of Islamophobia is going to get slapped on them. I don't care what people try to label me, because you can verify every single thing I say on this channel and every single thing I say in this video today, and it is true. All of it. None of it is simply my opinion, although I will wrap it in my opinion, but all of the core data is factually accurate, and you can confirm all of it. Total deaths caused by Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa. Over 50,000 people have been killed since 2011. Think I'm making it up? This is from the Council on Foreign Relations Nigeria Security Tracker. Total displaced people? More than 2.5 million people have been forced from their homes. Let's talk about the little girls abducted. 274 Chibok Christian girls kidnapped in 2014, 100 Dapcha girls abducted in 2018, hundreds more taken in village raids, forced marriages, and slave camps. In total, Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa have kidnapped over 1,000 young girls. It's all verifiable. Every bit of it is the absolute truth and fact. And that's who took them. Not some farmer with some land dispute or some BS tribal conflict that they keep trying to throw at us. No, this is strictly driven by a radical ideology. And again, they're targeting schools too. More than 2,300 teachers have been killed. More than 1,400 schools have been destroyed. Think about that. 1,400 schools, the entire school, destroyed because of a belief system. Radical Islamists destroy schools because they want Christians uneducated, vulnerable, silenced, and easily controlled. And the girls and women, they especially want them uneducated. It's against their religion. Again, I'm speaking of Orthodox Islam, which is the way it's supposed to be practiced. They want their women stupid and submissive. That's why they want these schools shut down, and that's why they target these women. Now, not just because they want them uneducated, because they are abusing them, selling them into slavery and things like that, forced marriages too. But they absolutely, according to their holy book, if you can call it that, think that women should be uneducated. It used to be illegal for women to go to school in a lot of these Islamic-run countries. It's just that they give the image of allowing that to happen, although it's still frowned upon. More on why they target Christian girls. This is not random. This is not banditry. This is certainly, again, no kind of little tribal conflict or land conflict. This is ideological jihad. I'm going to give you a direct quote from Boko Haram's own founder, Muhammad Yusuf. Quote, "We are fighting Christians. We will take their women. We will convert their children." Unquote. These people believe that Christian girls should be enslaved. Christian girls should be enslaved. They believe that Christian families should be completely wiped out if they're practicing Christianity. They also believe that Christian communities should be completely erased if they're not following their own religion. They also believe that Western education is evil. And of course, they believe that Islam must rule Nigeria through jihad. That's not my interpretation. That's what they state. They say this openly. This is not hidden by anybody. Let me list their atrocities, because this is what radical Islamist groups routinely do. They raid Christian villages at night and they take 40, 60, 300 girls at a time. The girls are beaten until they recite the Shahada. Girls as young as 12 are married to jihadists as rewards for their loyalty in jihad. Many of these young girls are sold across the Sahel to other radical Muslim networks. Fathers are murdered in front of their families to break community resistance. This is basically a bullying technique. This is a way to show force in the community, where they murder the fathers in front of the families to show this is what's going to happen to the rest of you if you follow what this man did. This is by no other definition a systemic religious cleansing. This is the radical Islamist version of ISIS, because in many cases, it literally is ISIS. Now let's talk about the media, more specifically the Western media's reluctance to cover any of this. Why is that? Why do you think that is? You think it's because they're scared? They're scared. The pattern is always the same. These people use the words militants instead of radical Islamist terrorists, which is the more accurate term. They sanitize the ideology to avoid being called, quote, Islamophobic. They focus on Nigeria's government failure, not the radical religious motives that we all know exist. They never say why Christians are the primary victims. They also treat 300 kidnapped Christian girls as a, quote, local issue. But if one Western reporter gets threatened, it's global news for weeks. That's the media's doing. And the main thing, besides all the virtue signaling, they fear physically being harmed. They fear violent backlash from these violent people. Every single newsroom knows what happens when you criticize radical Islam. Let's think about Charlie Hebdo, the Danish cartoon crisis, the beheading of Samuel Paty in France. These talking heads aren't just trying to avoid offending people, they're trying to avoid getting their heads chopped off. So they talk around the truth instead of confronting it. But we all know what the main root cause is. I mean, these radical groups have all openly and publicly declared what their intentions are. Quote, we will conquer Nigeria through population, conversion, and jihad. These groups operate only through forced breeding, mass abductions, radical madrasa systems, infiltration of security forces. This isn't some weird disorganized chaos. It's a strategy. It's a plan. It may seem sloppy, but it's all planned out. But here's what the Western governments do not want to admit. Radical Islamist networks don't stay contained. They expand. They migrate. They exploit immigration pathways just like they've done here in the United States and all over Europe. They hide among legitimate refugees within these countries, and they build an underground support structure that will only reveal itself whenever they are the majority. ISIS did it. Al-Shabaab did it. Hamas did it. Now, to be clear, the ideology travels with the networks or the groups that carry it and subscribe to the radicalization of it. Technically, it's not all Muslims, even though they are, if they don't believe in that ideology, they are unorthodox Muslims. But still, not all of them believe this same thing. They think that they can evolve whenever they are supposed to actually practice this ideology and religion the way it was written. The book is not open to interpretation. Whatever it says on there, if it tells you to take a rock and pop yourself in the head with it, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to interpret that passage to mean something else, non-literal, and apply it elsewhere. No, you're supposed to take the rock and hit yourself in the head. This radicalized minority that believes in this weird, twisted ideology, they exploit Western political correctness to gain ground. They know what they're doing. I mean, let's face it, the U.S. has already seen ISIS-inspired attacks, Taliban sympathizers online, radical preachers recruiting in prisons, extremist cells embedded in refugee populations, smuggling networks bringing in individuals with terror ties at the southern border and even the Canadian border. This is all documented by the DHS and FBI. This ain't me making this up. It's all documented elsewhere. How do you think I found it? Radical Islamist movements like this have long-term goals, and they're very, very patient. Their stated objective is to spread their ideology globally, including inside Western nations, and in many cases, especially inside Western nations, because they're the ones that they think and believe are the most evil. Think about this. Even though a lot of these people, I know we just, in the news, there's all the Somalia thing and all that going on too with Trump and whatnot. But you have to understand, a lot of these cultures and some of the countries, the biggest thing they probably are facing is being inbred, which means they already have a lower IQ. So they're bringing their IQ down considerably through generations. Like, their smartest generations were generations ago. They're getting dumber and stupider. So if you think about this, if you have a low IQ generation, group of people, we're talking 60 to 70 to 80 IQ points, right? And if you are that ingrained, invested in your religion, radical Islam, whatever that book tells you, you believe it because you're not smart enough to think on your own. You're not smart enough to outsmart the dummies who are pitching all this stupid nonsense to you. So you think that all these evil things that you're doing it in the eyes of the person who wrote that book, that holy book, that religious book of yours. You're not smart enough to realize you've been lied to and that you are being used as a pawn, as a puppet by other people who are just corrupt and just as stupid as you are. But here's the point that nobody wants to say out loud. Nigeria is shutting schools down. It's not changing anything. Again, it's the same stupid mentality of banning a certain type of gun so that criminals will stop using those guns in crimes. It's the same idiocy. I mean, to even say these thoughts out loud makes you question your own intelligence because you're like, I can't be the only one who thinks this is stupid. The problem ain't the schools. The problem is not poverty. The problem is not bandits. The problem is not some tribal warfare or conflict on land or whichever. The problem's radical Islamic ideology. An ideology that openly states its goals and bravely and boldly and openly carries these out. And the media covers for them. They expand every year and the world refuses to confront it. Believe it or not, America could learn from Nigeria on this. If you ignore a problem, it does not go away. It just gets worse. Guys, if you liked the video, please share it. If you're brave enough to. Just remember that. Please make sure you are subscribed. Please hit that notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, you guys get a notification saying that I have in fact uploaded a video. Let your friends and family know what's going on. This is a curse. This is something that the media has done such a good job of guilting people into talking about the actual truth. Like, these are things, again, I'm repeating quoted statements from these same people who are not shy about it. The media probably is doing more of a disservice to spread their evil word than the actual jihadists are, because they're openly stating what their views are. It's the media who whitewashes it. So the media, of course, as I always state, is the root of most of these problems, because when they cover things up, they're doing the biggest disservice to us than anybody. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
It's hanging